You are tuned in to episode 151 of the Goodfellas podcast. Episode 151 of the Goodfellas podcast. Your boy G5 Jeff TV, aka G5, aka 5, aka the Guru. Big shout out to everybody, man. Feel good to be back. You know what I'm saying? It's been a long week, a lot of stuff going on, but you know, made it through. Big shout out to everybody, man. Big shout out to VP Shane. Big shout out to BoxingFirstVlog. Big shout out to um, Ty Finney, the legend. Big shout out to him as well. And like I said, man, I'm glad to be here. Anybody that has not, you know, um, heard from me or been in contact with me in the past couple of days or the past week or so, man, I do apologize for that. You know what I'm saying? Just a lot of stuff going on. So just trying to get things right. You know what I mean? Hold on a second. Yeah. Somebody put a 1 in the comment section if you can hear me all right. Put a 1 in the comment section if you can hear me okay. We definitely gonna cook up today. We definitely gonna cook up today for sure. Put a 1 in that comment section if you can hear me okay. Check my volume levels. All right. Looking good. You know what I'm saying? Big shout out to everybody, man. Big shout out to everybody. Put that 1 in the comment section. Steven, what's going on, good brother? Coming through with the 1. Big shout out to you, man. Let's get the intro going, man, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Listen, man, we gonna talk everything Tank Davis today. My guy J.O. in the building, man. Big shout out to J.O., man. Big shout out to you, family. Listen, originally the show was gonna be doing yearly awards. I was gonna do fighter of the year, knockout of the year, things like that. And here this comes. Tank Davis gets locked up for a alleged domestic dispute. The audio of the 911 call has come out. Tank Davis put a statement out on Instagram. Just checked it before I went live, and looked like it was taken down. But y'all know how I go on the internet. Once you put something up, it's always up. Somebody done screenshotted it and used it already. So with this news coming, of course, Tank's supposed to be fighting January 7th in DC, pay-per-view against Hector Garcia. If he wins that fight, then we go into a super fight with Ryan Garcia. Of course, Jerron Boots Ennis is on that card. Demetrius Andrade is on that card as well. You know what I'm saying? The card is got the stars that you need on it. And, is Tank fighting on January 7th? It's up in the air. Card going to continue if Tank don't fight? Up in the air. We don't know. You know what I'm saying? We do not know. So, it's just a crazy situation. And the thing about this situation and anything domestic, To be honest with you, most times one person is clearly telling the truth, another person is clearly lying. You like, you know what I'm saying? It may be an underlying story here and there, but a lot of times it's really like that simple. Like it's black or white. You know what I'm saying? But it's not the first time Tank has been in a situation like this, where there's been some domestic things going on involving his name. He also has a court date coming up for a alleged hit and run that went down. I think he went down in Baltimore, if I'm not mistaken. So Tank just has a lot going on, and according to the law, you're innocent till proven guilty. But as a man, as a black man, any man, but especially a black man, you don't want to be you don't want to be in those situations. You don't want to be in those situations where your name is attached to domestic. You know what I'm saying? Um, it's an unfortunate situation. You hate to hear it. But the one thing that I will say is not only media, but people in general, they don't have the same energy for, these types of things. Like you could have one person that's into a domestic dispute and nobody talks about it. Then you could have another person that's in a domestic dispute and the whole world is talking about it. This situation, with Tank Davis, everybody's talking about it. Like it's the main thing everybody's talking about. But then you take a situation like a Sergey Kovalev. He had a situation like a domestic situation. Nobody really talked about it. I even seen something where there was like a lady that was fighting in an MMA fight and she allegedly killed her husband. Like so, and that didn't get talked about. So it's a lot going on, man. I got my guy Brendan Smith in the building, man. Big shout out to Brendan Smith. He said I'm a big Tank fan. I hope the fight is going on. To be honest with you, Brendan, I don't mean to sound rude or ignorant or anything like that, but that's the main thing I care about. You know what I'm saying? Like, is the fight going on January 7th? Is he going to be ready January 7th? Is he going to be on weight January 7th? Is the card still going on? So that's my main thing as far as what's going on in his personal life and all of that. Um, you know, only Tank and the young woman involved know the truth. You know what I'm saying? But you're seeing a lot of this, a lot of domestic stuff going on, man. You got in the NBA, Miles Bridges. It's just a lot. It's a lot of stuff going on, man. Um, Brennan said I was falsely accused. See, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, just for the record, we don't know who's telling the truth or who's lying. We don't know the specifics about the situation. And all we heard was the actual 911 call. So, you know, Brennan, that's big, man. That's big. He said I was falsely accused. And that's what I'm saying. Like it's just this, you got like the Me Too movement and all of that, man. And Brennan, just to speak on what you said, um, the thing is in this world and in this society, um, it's unfortunate, but a woman can literally lie and say and they were, abused or they were a victim of a domestic dispute and be completely lying 100% and nothing happens to them. They don't get a perjury charge. They don't get a charge for filing a false police report. There's no repercussions. There's no punishment for lying about something domestic. Like there's no punishment at all, So, and now mind you, that's separate from the women that have actually been abused. You understand what I'm saying? That actually are going through that. This has nothing to do with that. I'm talking about the women that actually be lying and be accusing men of domestic stuff, and they know for a fact it's not true. My boxing son, Chris G, in the building, man. He said, "Hey, what's going on, bro? Um, yeah, this crazy subject, man. Steven, Big shout out to you, bro. He said I was falsely accused by a girlfriend that used to like to hit men. I'm slow to believe anything without knowing details. That's the thing, man. Like, um, a woman can sound very convincing, but at the end of the day, until we know the facts, um, we can't say that the woman's lying, but we can't say Tank is lying either. Like we gotta let it go through the process and go through the court process and and see what happens and hope the truth comes out. And sometimes legal moves is not a guaranteed signal of what the story is either. You know what I'm saying? A guy could be innocent, and it may not look good for him. A lawyer might tell him, "Hey, maybe you should plea. Take a plea deal, do this, do that." Like we'll never know the story unless like actual video comes out. You know what I'm saying? Or just real, real details. My guy, Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more, man, says salute, brother. Big shout out to you, bro, man. Go subscribe to Bruce Gas, Boxing Jazz, and more, man. One of my top 5 favorite channels to watch. One of my top 5 favorite people to listen to when it comes down to boxing, man. Like he's a um, a pioneer in my eyes in every sense of the word when it comes down to boxing, man. You know what I'm saying? Definitely go check him out. Definitely go subscribe to his channel for sure. Brennan Smith, the PBC said the fight was still going on. The bell was a thousand, so maybe not that big. My guy, man, Ty Finney, aka the Legend, is in the building. What is going on, little bro?
What's going on, man? Salute to you.
I can't hear you, baby.
Oh, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? No.
I still can't hear you, bro.
All right.
Take your time, bro.
All right, no problem. You still can't hear me? All right,
Nope.
I'm gonna come back in.
Come back in.
All right.
Legend gonna get his situation together. You know what I'm saying? That's my guy right there, man. Ty Finney, aka the Legend. Definitely go check his channel out. You know what I mean? Did y'all hear him? Could y'all hear him? Because I couldn't hear him. I couldn't hear him at all. But Brennan said the PBC said the fight was still going on. The bell was 1,000, so maybe not that big. Yeah, the fact that the bell was so low, that I think that's a clear indication that I think the evidence might have been a little light. Bruce said you could hear him fine. That's interesting. I could not hear him to save my life. Maybe it's on my end. Hey, Legend, if you listening, bro, come back in. Because Bruce said he could hear you. Chris G said, I don't want to jump the gun and say he's guilty, but we've seen him in the past behave not so good, but people can change. But Tank isn't the most responsible outside the ring. Chris G, that's true. That's true. That's very true. So it's crazy because a person's past can be the shining, it's perceived as the shining light of somebody's future. And sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you could be falsely accused, when it comes down to something, and people will judge you based off your past. But I think someone that doesn't have a history of domestic violence is just as capable of somebody that does have a history of domestic violence. Like anybody's capable of anything, you know what I'm saying? And it really just comes down to the evidence at the end of the day. It really just comes down to the evidence at the end of the day. So, Hey, Legend, try to jump back in here, bro. Yeah, they said they could hear him, and I couldn't hear him. It's crazy. Um, yeah, but Chris G, that's 100% facts, bro. That's 100% facts. And you know, we just got to see what happens. Like Tank knows what happened, and that girl knows what happened. And my thing with Tank is, I hope he wasn't like, I hope neither party was high or drunk or under some type of drug influence. You know, you don't want to see that. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to see that at all. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to see that. Let's try this again. Yo, Ty.
What's up?
Yo, hold on. I think it's me, bro. Hold on. I'm frustrated, bro. Why I can't hear you? Say something again, bro.
Salute.
That's crazy.
Right.
Can y'all hear him? Because when you went on before, they were saying they could hear you. Yo, that's crazy. I can't hear you. I got to figure this out. Hold on, Ty.
All right, goodbye.
Because it's me then.
Okay.
Hold on.
All right.
Hey, Ty, come out real quick. I'm gonna figure it out from my end, and then I'm gonna tell you to come back in.
Okay, cool.
All right. Let me figure out what's going on with Oh, you know what? I had a duh moment, y'all. I had a duh moment. Hey, Ty, come back in, bro. Come back in. I had a duh moment. I think I figured it out. I had a duh moment. Ty, come back in. I think I figured it out, bro. Yo, this is how you know I haven't been on the podcast for a long time. I'm making rookie mistakes, bro. Rookie mistakes. Legend, come back in here, bro. We're gonna keep it moving though. Bruce says Tank better get a hold of himself, or I see not good things for him. A legend.
Salute.
Let me say salute to you, bro. Let me tell you, bro. I ain't been on here in a minute, and I just made a rookie mistake.
Okay.
So I'm wondering why I couldn't hear you. So I have my headphones plugged into the laptop and not into the microphone. So I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Okay.
Yo,
good, man.
Let me give you the proper introduction, man. This is my guy, man, Ty Finney, aka the Legend, man. One of the hottest dudes out right now, man. Just had an interview with Darnell Boone, couple other interviews, man. Definitely tearing the boxing streets up right now. Get this man his flowers right now, man. Ty Finney, what's up, bro?
Salute to you, man. Glad to come on. Like I said, I'm feeling good, man. Off today, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Yeah.
the news about Tank. So I definitely had to get on here today.
Yes,
man,
sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man. Like just when you heard about it, like what was your like initial thoughts on the situation?
I woke up this morning, had a trillion texts, so I was like, I was sad a little bit, man. I was worried. It's just gonna affect, the fight next Saturday. It's just gonna affect the Ryan Garcia fight. So I had 1,000 questions in my head.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. Bruce said, yeah, I can hear him fine. Yeah, Bruce, I had a dub moment. My bad. Brendan said I did. I can hear Ty just fine. Yeah, I had a moment, y'all. Bruce said, I haven't seen this many times. I have seen this many times, and it doesn't work out well. Like Abiabuchi, Tony Ayala, Mike Tyson. Yeah, see, that's the thing, man. Like, this is a very dangerous situation. very dangerous situation. And the thing about it is, a lot of times you don't get video evidence or audio evidence. You just get, you know, you might get the 911 call, and that's about it. And then it's literally like your story versus their story. And men in the court system usually doesn't work out for us. You know what I'm saying? Usually doesn't work out for us. I mean, we just seen, I know this outside of boxing, but you just seen Tory Lanez just get, convicted of 3 felony charges, shooting a chick in the foot. Like, and I've been on a jury before, and based off the law, if it's not beyond a reasonable doubt, then the defendant walks. And it was literally like 7 different stories. There's no way you come up with you know what I'm saying? Like an actual conclusion to that at the end of the day. You know what I mean? But Tank has had issues in the past with domestic stuff that was on camera.
Facts.
You grab, listen, you grab a chick, it's domestic. It's only one way you grab a chick and it's not domestic. And yeah. You know what I'm saying? And we gonna leave that there. You know what I'm saying? But you have to be so careful, because it's just, and listen, this is no disrespect to women. All right. There's no disrespect to women. There's a lot of people in this world, a lot of women in this world that go through domestic disputes, and they are getting abused physically, verbally, emotionally. This is, you women are separate from this. There's certain women that lie about this stuff for various reasons. It could be for money. They could be vindictive. The guy might have wanted to move on with his life, didn't want to be with you. They trying to pull out all the stops. You know what I'm saying? For those people, those women that are doing that, there's no repercussions. There's no repercussions. So, like, me and Ty could be hanging out, and a chick try to get my number, and I'd be like, nah, I'm cool, I'm straight. They could literally run outside and go to a cop and be like, yo, he assaulted me, or he put his hands on me. They're not going to ask any questions. I'm in cuffs. I'm in the back of the car. Like, this is like serious business. And it's like, I want to see Tank fighting, bottom line. Whatever he got going on in his personal life, all right, cool. But this is like a dangerous subject. And like Bruce said, there's a lot of people that's walked down this line and they ended up good for him. So Tank in a bad spot. In a bad spot, man. Now, do you think the amount of the bill means anything? It definitely means something to me. The amount of the bill was only $1,000.
Yeah, from what I just saw, he's released, and he made a statement. You know what I'm saying? Denying everything. So he's released. So that's out the way. Now it's just what's going to happen going forward.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, and then he has a case coming up.
Yeah,
he has a case coming up. Like,
yeah, that was pushed back. Yeah, that was pushed back, but that's coming up soon. So now he's got that, and now he's got this. So that's why I'm asking these questions, man. What is the Ryan Garcia fight going to be off? No, I mean, because now he's got to deal with the court stuff. Like, could that affect his training? You know what I mean? So it's a lot of questions I ask, man. And then I also ask, if he doesn't fight, is Andre going to be the main event? Is Boots going to be the main event? You know what I mean? It's just a thousand questions I ask, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of questions out there, man. And it's, and they're all valid. They're all valid questions across the board. And I know, I forgot who it was, but somebody posted, they said, oh, well, Rolly was accused of assault. And his fight got postponed, and I had to put on there, I'm like, yo, like that, you can't compare Rolly to Tank. And this is not situation versus situation. This is money versus money. Rolly comes to an arena near you. If you miss it, okay, cool. You'll catch it on the back end. Tank coming to the arena, there's a certain amount of bags of money that's attached to Tank's name when he's stepping in the building. So they're not going to cancel his fight, compared to a Rolly. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I have the same questions, bro. I have the same questions. It's now I think Showtime did say that the fight was gonna go on.
Okay.
I don't know if that's 100% true or not. I know my guy YSM is in here, so he might have some more information on that. Or if anybody has any more information on that, that'd be great. But as long as for me, I'm like, as long as the fight's still going on, we can find out what happened afterwards. Like, that's all I'm concerned about, man.
Yeah,
for
facts,
sure,
man. Yeah, because I'm going to be in the building, man. So I don't.
Oh, you gonna be there?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be in the building, man.
With was the tickets around the same amount as it was before what we was talking about?
Yeah, it was around the same price, but I just went ahead and got the 150 joints, but I'm going 5 deep, so.
Oh, you going 5 deep? All right, I gotta go.
Yeah, we're going 5 deep. Yeah,
I just got approved. I just got approved for the days off for that too. So I'm definitely. Okay. We can talk afterwards. I want to know what section y'all in, so I can at least be in the same section with y'all. We can, what I'm saying, right. Do it that way. Bruce said, boxers are violent for the most part. The key is to control it outside of the ring. Yeah, Bruce. I mean, fighters, hands are legal weapons. Hey, Bruce, let me. So I know you probably remember this. Antoine Eccles was in court. He was like, it was like one of them TV court shows, and it was back in the day, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, that look like Antoine Eccles. And this was like right after the B-Hop fight. I was like, he beat up this dude outside the bar or whatever, put hands on him. And I'm like, the judge literally told him, he said, you're a boxer, like your hands are registered weapons, like you can't just be using your weapons like that. So yeah, boxers, they got to know how to turn it on, turn it off. And again, and it's like, you got to stay away from the alcohol. You got to stay away from the drugs. You got to stay away from anything that gets you outside of your norm. And I'm not saying that was the case with Tank. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that doesn't help. You know what I mean? Doesn't help at all. Chris G, he said, the one and only Legend, man. Yeah, man. Legend, one of the hottest dudes out here right now, man. My guy, the hottest dude out here right now. My guy, YSN Sports Media, said, what up, Ty?
Said, what up?
My guy, Mark Nash in the building, man. Said, what up, fellas? Mark Nash, what's up with you, bro? He said, we celebrating your B-Day in DC 5. Yeah. I just got approved for the days off like 3 hours ago. So I'm gonna talk to Legend. I'm gonna see what the ticket's looking like. I'm pretty sure you probably got credentials, so I'm pretty sure you probably gonna be working the fight. Yeah, but I'm gonna definitely start lining stuff up to get down there. So I gotta get everybody information and all that, see where everybody gonna be at. Cause I'm probably gonna be down there. When you going? Are you going down there day of? Or you going down there day before? Or
yeah, I'm going there day of, but we'll probably when that day comes, man, you might just try to leave it a little early, because DC traffic is hectic. So
DC, bro.
Yeah,
YSM ain't never been to DC before. I think he said he been there once.
Yeah.
DC.
Yeah, I deliver in DC, man. So I can tell you all about it, man.
DC. Yeah. DC. You might be celebrating my birthday, but you'll be celebrating yours too. It might be a couple months from now. You know what I'm saying? DC definitely.
Yeah, like DC. When I went to see my boy debut in Virginia, I actually and I drove there. That was a 3-hour drive. And I had to go through DC, man. Just getting to DC, I was jammed up. I mean, we still got to the fight on time and everything, but yeah, that DC traffic ain't no joke, man.
Nah, it ain't no joke. And it's crazy. And I forgot what part of the city this is. It's like right outside of DC. It's like no more than like 30 minutes. But there's a part of like Virginia, where it's like a strip. It's like maybe like a 15-minute strip, and there's nothing but 7-figure houses in that joint, like on each side of the street, man. And it's like it looked like a movie. Like every time I go down there, I gotta drive down that strip, get my mind right. You know what I'm saying? But DC, yeah. DC get busy. They definitely get busy for sure. Big shout out to DC. Chris G, anyone think that Tank is regressing as in his performances? Like the Tank that for Pedraza, I haven't really seen. To be honest with you, I think Tank has gotten better. Chris, and I'm gonna explain why. You take a pit bull cruise, right? You don't beat a pit bull cruise unless you are highly skilled, and I'm talking boxing wise, because that dude, his name fits his fighting style, Pit Bull. And Tank jabbed him, did what he had to do, turned him, kept the space, kept the distance. The hardest thing to watch is a power puncher actually boxing. Like he had to actually like box that fight. He couldn't depend on the power. He had to box that night. And Tank is had, so you even take like the Leo Santa Cruz fight. This is a power guy that's figuring things out. Like he's playing chess. You don't see a lot of power guys playing chess. He's actually in there playing chess. So I think, Chris, to answer your question, I think Tank is evolving as a fighter. Legend, what you think, bro?
Yeah, I agree because add the fact that he had a broken hand. His hand was messed up, and he still got the job done. He couldn't get the knockout. He couldn't press as hard as he wanted to, but he still got the victory. So yeah, you add the fact that he got a messed up hand, and that makes it more impressive. And then like Pitbull, I don't know what fight it was, man, but I just remember the highlights. Man, he dodged some dude like first round, I believe. He just knocked him out, and like the dude was in the ropes or in the corner.
Was it Magdaleno? It might have been one. I think it was Diego Mag. I think it might have been one of the Magdaleno boys. Yeah, he dogged him, bro.
Yeah,
like I was like,
yeah, and I seen it was like a video meme. Like
they put the
special effects and stuff. Yeah,
they put the punch sound behind it. It was like,
yeah,
boom. I'm like, God damn, like
when I seen that,
yo, bro, I thought those sounds was real. When I first heard it, I was like, yo, he punching hard and shit. Like, yeah, Pitbull a problem, man. But I think Tank is evolving, man, as a fighter for sure. Especially like what he did to Rolly, like that counter shot, like that. A lot of power guys is not doing that. Like we got to get credit where credit is due. Mark Nash, he said, definitely was reasonable doubt. Brennan said, I'm praying for Tank's success. Listen, Tank, I just want for Tank to get out of his own way. Whether he's guilty, innocent, or whatever the case may be. I'm like, you had the issue with the chick. I think it was back in 2000 where he was grabbing the chick at the basketball game. You got this situation. We ain't got no video of it. You got the hit and run. You got other incidents that's happened with Tank with his name involved. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, he got to stay out of his own way, man. He got to stay out of his own way. Mark Nash, smash the like on the way. Smash the like button on the way in the chat. I agree with that 100%. That's a fact. Young Guns in the building, man. Big shout out to you. He said Tank had the incident with assaulting the girl at the b-ball game. He had the hit and run on the woman that he has a court date for, and now out on bond over domestic assault. This pattern follows him. And see, Young Guns, that's the thing, bro. Like, it'd be easy for me to be like, hey, he's this is just him. You know what I'm saying? This is just him. Now, the hit and run thing, I think the woman was pregnant too, which makes it worse. So we don't know how that's gonna go. More than likely, they may settle out. You know what I'm saying? They may settle out. And then the one at the basketball game, I mean, yeah, he was gripping her arm like a blood pressure test. Like, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, so, but you see something like that, you can't help but to be like, I don't know. But I can't see you being drunk at a celebrity basketball game neither.
Right.
So like if he did that and he wasn't high, he wasn't drunk, he wasn't on drugs, and that was just him, period.
Yeah.
You know, perception is a lot, especially in the social media world, man. Like so
That's
I don't know, bro. I don't know, man. Steven, he said, so the tune-up fight and the Garcia fight are still happening for Tank. Charlo was on hold, so I want some fights to happen. 2023 is off to a messy start. That's a
facts.
fact, bro. That's a
Facts, man.
fact. I can't even argue with that, bro.
Facts, man.
Jamel Charlo injured. That fight got postponed. Hey, Steve, you know the thing that's crazy, man? That fight was this weird period. They announced that shit back in like September that it's going down in January. I'm like, what? Like, so I hope Tim Tszyu gets a replacement. I hope they let Tony Harrison fight him. Like give Tony Harrison an opportunity.
Yeah, that's what I'm reading that if they postpone it, then the fight just happened a couple months later or whatever. But yeah, I would like to see Tony Harrison get in there and get that smoke for sure, man.
Yeah, I think Tony Harrison definitely outboxes Tim Tszyu. It's the same question with Tony Harrison. I'm like, what is he gonna do after round 8?
Facts.
Round 9.
Mm-hmm.
I think Tony Harrison's one of the best fighters in the world, rounds 1 through 8. Mm-hmm. It's 9 through 12 that I got the problem with because it's the gas tank.
Facts.
And the thing about some guys can be tired and they can still operate, when it comes down to their fundamentals. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But when it comes down to Tony Harrison, he loses all his fundamentals. He fights completely different. So it's really, can he survive 9 through 12? Facts. I know he's gonna whip Tim Tszyu's ass from 1 to 8. Yeah, I know that for a fact.
Yeah, like we can't forget, like Harrison was putting that work on Charlo, in that rematch,
bro.
Prior to the knockdown, I mean, he was putting that work in, man.
He was dogging Charlo. I'm glad Vlog ain't in here because Vlog fight for Charlo to the death. But yeah, man, Tony Harrison.
Charlo's my man, though, man.
I rock with Charlo. Like that still don't change the fact he was getting dogged before he got the knockdown. He lost like 4 rounds straight, like easy. Like he was really he was walking Charlo down. He was dogging him, like for sure. It's like, bro, if Tony Harrison had an elite gas tank, bro, like he might be pound for pound.
Facts.
Because all of the fights that he lost they were late and he was tired.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Tony Harrison is the last fighter to stop Fernando, man.
Yeah.
Since that, man.
Yeah, no, that's a fact. That's a fact. Young Guns says, at what point does the sport of boxing say putting Tank in the ring right now isn't the best image you trying to portray for the sport? Young Guns, I'm glad. That's an interesting comment. And the fact that you got a Philly logo on your YouTube, I'm assuming we from the same city. And if you don't mind, shout out what part of town you from. Especially Young Guns too. You definitely from the city. I just need to know what part. The reason why that comment is not really relevant in boxing is because boxing is a dirty sport. Boxing is a dirty sport. You're dealing with any and everybody can get, in the sport of boxing. Like, and we talking from way, way back. Like boxing originally started and the mob was in it. And even now you have, Daniel Kinahan was in it. You understand what I'm saying? Like, so boxing has no morals. It has no image. It has no positivity. It's some positivity within the sport, but it's not highlighted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so they don't care. They don't care about that. They really don't. They don't care about that. So
yeah. And let me add, man, you got fighters that get popped for PEDs and don't get no real suspensions. They get a training camp and they back in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And that's another thing, bro. So it's bigger than. So if you want to talk image, like athletes shouldn't be cheating. Athletes shouldn't be on drugs. And what happens is just because a person tests negative does not mean they're not cheating. That means that they're beating the test.
Mm.
There's, I would say, to be honest with you, and Chris G, I'm pretty sure he's still in here. I would say probably about 75 to 80% is probably taking something. 75 to 80% is taking something. You know what I mean? But that still don't stop them from only suspending guys for 6 months. You know what I'm saying? You got guys that are in domestic situations. They are affiliated with, drug dealers and mobsters and, all types of people when they camp. That don't stop them from fighting. The boxing, the Young Guns boxing is the wild, wild west, bro. Like, I know a couple people that's in the streets. They could literally apply for a boxing manager license right now and get it. And they will be a boxing manager, but they slinging dubs of that, yeah, I mean, during the day. Like, you know what I'm saying? So boxing just don't have no boundaries, no morals, no nothing. It's been like that for a long time. So you know, somebody getting, not being able to fight because of something domestic. Now I know they did that with Rolly, but that's a rare occurrence, and Rolly don't carry a certain bag, certain money numbers. So that's an interesting comment, though. That was interesting. They had no problem pulling Rolly off the card when the allegations popped up about him. It's the money. It's it's the money.
It
At
was
the end of the day,
rescheduled though.
it was
It
rescheduled.
was rescheduled.
Yeah, it was rescheduled. But and Young Guns, let me throw this at you. What you hear about that situation after? Nothing. He got a tank fight. You know what I'm saying? He got a tank fight. You ain't hear nothing about the story. You ain't hear nothing about the chick. You don't know if she was lying, he was lying, or whatever the case may be. That was just a story at that moment. So that story cost Rolly a 6-figure payday. Is Rolly wrong for taking her to court and say, hey, this is defamation and she cost me a 6-figure bag? You feel what I'm saying? It's not even on both sides of the field. It's not even on both sides of the field. You know what I'm saying? That's a fact. I listen, if you cost me a 6-figure check, I'm suing the shit out of you. All right, period. Or you gonna have to pay in hospital costs. One of the two. Something got to happen. Somebody got to go to the hospital. You know what I'm saying? I gotta find a male in your family. I ain't putting no female in the hospital. You got a brother or uncle or something. They go to the hospital, bro. Straight up. But no, Young Guns, it's strictly money, bro. It's strictly money. Like, that's like if it was an amateur fighter that had a domestic dispute, they'll cancel his fight. But if it's somebody that's bringing in $15-20 million per event, they're not going to cancel his fight.
Yeah, Rolly and Tank, he was on All Access. You know what I mean? So they were building that fight up. You know what I mean? Rolly's doing a lot of trash talking. So
facts. Chris G said that was Magdaleno. He hit him with that 2-piece uppercut at the end. Made his eyes roll around. Yeah, he looked like a cartoon character, bro. He was just like that was ugly.
Pitbull was throwing bombs, man.
Yeah. Mark said, I don't know neither, Mark. He said, yeah, people drink at those celebrity games, dog. You know what? That's true, Mark. The only thing though, he looked like he was coming from outside though. Like, I know they be having to set up in the back. It's no different than the boxing, like the PBC shows, like at the Barclay. They got like the section specifically for like the upscale people, and they had their own bar and all that. Like, so yeah, they do. But yeah, I mean, it's bad regardless, bro. It's bad regardless, man. Like, it's just no chick is worth 7 figures, man. Like, you just gotta walk. You just gotta take a walk. You know what I'm saying? Mark Nash, they announced it early before Fondora petitioned for the mandatory. Okay. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Chris G, nah, the Charlo versus Zoo fight was announced in May or June, bro, for January. I was like, what the fuck? Why so far out? I said the same thing, bro. Like, it was damn, it was that early. Yeah, it was like, it was crazy. I thought it was
Yeah,
like August or September, and I'm like, why are they announcing it? And that's like a whole 6 months away. Like, I'm
yeah,
confused.
facts, man. I said the same thing. I was like, yeah, that's a long time, man.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I'm like, that's crazy. My guy, L Dub the plug in the building, man. He said, what's good? Big shout out to L Dub the plug, man. Hey, listen, please subscribe to L Dub the plug. Like, when you need all boxing, no fluff, that's where you go. One of the more, one of the sharpest minds, boxing minds out there, man. Big shout out to LW the plug. Mark Nash, the boxing gods continue to with the Crawford curse on PBC for all their shenanigans. Hey, Mark, you know the thing that's crazy, bro, is you're gonna know within the next 6 months whether that fight's happening or not. Period. Because once Boots do what he got to do, January 7th, they got to make a decision. I'm talking Spence. Spence is gonna have to make a decision because he's gonna have to see Boots before the year out. So I said it a while ago. I was like, Crawford's actually the one with the leverage. He's the one with the leverage. Like, he don't have to look at a Boots. Boots is not on his side of the sanctioning body. He's on Spence side. So Spence got to make a decision, man. It's either Thurman, Boots, or Crawford. That's a man. That's tough. Like, even Thurman ain't no easy pickings. I hate to steal his word, but please, I
I
ain't
think
no
that's who
easy
you run
pickings,
with.
boy. Yeah, that's the safest fight out of the three, but I mean, he's only lost to Pacquiao. And you can make an argument he won that fight. You know what I'm saying? So Spence in a tough spot, bro. Tough
Yeah.
spot.
Yeah, what you think? What you think about when he was talking to Brian Custer? Everybody saying he looked like he gained some weight, man. It was like he looking like a heavyweight a little bit, man. Like
Man, who you talking about? You talking about Thurman?
he
Or you talking
was
about Spence?
Spence when he was at the Frank Martin and Michelle
Yes,
Rivera fight.
yeah,
It was like he looking big, man.
he looked like he had on a set that he wears like right before he making weight.
Yeah.
And he just put that joint back on, man. He looked real.
Yeah.
He looked real plump.
Like,
Yo,
yeah.
I'm like, but he looks similar to how Broner looked for the Red Cash press conference. Like, he just looked, crazy.
Right.
Mark Nash had that chin too. Yeah, he definitely got the Spence got the double chin going on, man. That's that. But I did not even joking around. Like, the people that drink a lot of like alcohol and stuff like that, like, they get the double chins like early. He said, "Damn, Jeff, you sound gloomy. You sound gloomy talking about boxing is hopeless." Nah, man, it's just you just hate hearing stuff like this, bro. Like, it's like it's depressing, man. We coming off of a really, really, really good year of boxing. And Mark, I wasn't even supposed to be talking about this on this podcast. I was supposed to be talking about fighter of the year. I was going to do my end of the year awards. But I'm gonna have to push that back to tomorrow unless something else happens. But I wasn't even gonna talk about this, but the fact that January 7th was at some type of jeopardy at some point today depressed me. You know what I mean? It depressed me at the end of the day, man. So if I sound a little gloomy at that, damn, I was like, I got on all black and all that. Yeah, I guess I am bringing the funeral vibes up in the head, man. That's crazy. Chris G, if you suspend a PBC fighter for a year and a half, it literally makes no difference to them between fights. Damn, shots fired. Blah, blah, blah. Chris, and the thing about Chris, Chris has no picks when it comes down to his shots. He takes shots at me and everybody else, man. Chris don't give a damn, man. That's why I love him. You know what I'm saying? But nah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like, a lot of them PBC fighters, man, they need dates. They need dates, man. They need dates. They need networks. And it's just, that's why I don't understand why so many people throw shots at like other networks. Like a lot of people was throwing shots at like Black Prime. And I'm like, regardless of how you felt about the Terrence Crawford card, how it was run, did people get paid, what they got paid, and all that, I'm like, yo, that is a network Al Heyman can use. Like, bottom line, I'm like, yo, he could use that network. So I'm like, you should be supporting that network success so your favorite promoter or advisor can actually get some of his guys to fight. So you can see some of your favorite fighters fight maybe one more a year or two more a year. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's crazy. Like the PBC fighters are very, very, very inactive. If I see one more video of Danny Garcia doing shadow boxing in a goddamn Gucci robe, man, I'm a snap. I'm a snap on somebody. Brennan said I was in DC on January 6th. Insurrection. And yeah, we were planning on going out there around that time and ended up not going, luckily. Mark Nash, it wasn't Rolly's event. Rolly was an opponent, not the champion. That's true, but that's all of the reason why they should have let it go. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? If it was Rolly's event or Rolly was the champion and they decided to pull the plug, yeah, that's something different. But he was just an opponent. He was just an opponent. So for them to pull the plug and he was just an opponent and not anything that you just said makes it a head scratcher. Like, you know what I mean? Makes it a head scratcher. Young Gun said, I'm right over the bridge, actually, in Camden, New Jersey. I'm Philly, everything with sports. Oh, okay. You're right over the bridge. Okay. Right over the bridge. But shout out to Camden, man. But shout out to Camden. He said, Brennan said, I was in the protest. Oh, you was in it. Okay. Well, as long as you ain't get locked up. Like, you know what I mean? People free to protest. Mark Nash, I thought he was coming from the other side of the court. Explain that a little further, bro. You kind of lost me with that one. Chris G, unpopular opinion, Boots is the hardest fight out of those three. Crawford, Boots, Thurman. I would agree with that. I know it's an unpopular opinion because a lot of people say, well, what has Boots done? And he ain't fought nobody. This and the third. There's a reason why he ain't fought nobody, because ain't nobody really trying to fight him.
I was saying Rashidi is saying he won him now, but that's just what I'm. Yeah, I read that earlier, man. But I don't. Yeah, I don't think he want that smoke. I think he just trying to build up something since they both on the same card and everything.
Yeah, so I know for a fact 120% he was offered that fight and he turned it down. Now I'm not saying it was him personally. It might have been his handlers or whatever, but based off of the rankings and things like that, this is set up for the winner of the Rashidi Ellis fight gets Boots next, depending on what Boots does. So if Boots needs a stay busy fight while this whole Spence situation is going, yeah, you could see Boots and Rashidi Ellis, but I don't see Rashidi lasting 5 rounds with Boots. And it's really just, of course, Rashidi got the hand speed, he got the athleticism. It's really what are you gonna do when Boots touch you?
So hey, let me ask you this. So let's just say that fight does happen. Do you think people would look back and say, well, Boots got a decent name on his resume? To me, Lipinets was a good name.
I think Lipinets was a good name.
And he stopped him.
And he stopped him. I thought Lipinets was a good name. Lipinets is a solid fighter. He's definitely a solid fighter. To be honest with you, Castillo Clayton ain't bad. He just made him look bad.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying?
What about
Tony
Delorme?
Delorme. I like Delorme. Now I remember me and Shane got into a big argument about this. I remember I was walking home
Mhm.
and I'm literally in the middle of the street yelling at Shane on the phone. This is like a private conversation. And I'm literally yelling at him on the phone. He was trying to argue with me about how good Delorme was as an opponent. And we was just going at it. But I thought Delorme was solid, a solid opponent. Was he a great opponent? No, but a solid opponent. Like you go up against Delorme, like you gauge where you're at. You know what I'm saying? You gauge where you at. He's definitely not a garbage fighter. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, if he gets a Rashidi Ellis, gets that dub, that's another name under his belt. I'm cool with it. Cool with it. Rashidi's a good fighter. Rashidi's a good fighter, but he's been inactive. He's been
Facts.
inactive. You know, he's been a victim of boxing politics. And, you know, it is what it
Yeah.
is. But everybody to fight January 7th should fight 3 times this year. It'd be a crime if they don't fight 3 times this year. When you fighting basically at the beginning of the year, you got to give me 3 fights. I need 3. Young Guns, this may sound messed up, but is it just commonplace that fighters, whether MMA, kickboxing, boxing, etc., are gonna have violent incidents outside the ring, so the public tend to turn the other cheek? Uh, Legend, you want to take a jab at that? I gotta think about that one. That's a good one.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you had to come back to that one, man. Yeah,
Bro, off the top of my head, bro, what I'll say is, um, when whether it's boxers, MMA fighters, kickboxers, when they get into violent incidents outside of the ring, you're not surprised because they're in a violent sport.
makes sense.
Now, when it come down to domestic stuff, that's something different
Mm.
because you have basketball players that you know go through that. You've seen football players go through that. Just athletes, period. And I think what I'll say, Young Guns, is I think people don't value the mental health aspect of things. You know what I'm saying? Like just in life, period. You know, because really you go through every day. The real question is really just, did you have a good day or did you have a bad day? You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of people that have bad days and things like that. So I do think athletes need to take more time for mental health. I couldn't imagine waking up every morning and there's like 50 YouTube videos about me. Like, like you know what I'm saying? Like
Facts,
we
man.
do videos and stuff like that. I couldn't imagine waking up in the morning and I got this person taking a shot, that person taking a shot. Like it's you in the public eye and you an athlete, man. It's benefits, of course, but it's a tough world. You know what I'm saying? Your whole life is an open book. So when you get into situations like that, violent situations, you know, with some people you're more surprised than others. It's just if you're in a violent sport, if you're in some type of violence outside of the sport, people are just
Yeah,
not gonna be
right.
as surprised at the end of the day. But
Yeah,
that's a damn good
yeah.
question though.
So
Damn good question.
wasn't Conor McGregor in like some kind of situation one time where like he was
Mm-hmm.
in a parking lot fighting and the window got broken on a bus or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, and that was with another fighter. That was with
Okay.
another fighter. So that was a violent incident. Jake Paul was in a situation too. Jake
Mm.
Paul was in a situation, and he's headlining Showtime cards. I mean, it's just
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it really just rules don't apply. Rules is not a one size fit all. Rules are rules, but they're you know they are basically enforced in different ways depending on who you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Chris G said Rashidi will be a good opponent for Boots. Is really good on paper, very good for the resume, and legit top contender. But we all know Boots gonna make him look like a tune-up. Yeah, like I said, I don't think Rashidi lasts 5 rounds with Boots. I watched when Rashidi his last fight on Golden Boy before he went on the shelf. That was a step up fight for him, and he fought really. I don't want to say cautious, but he fought a very strategic fight. Like he really ain't want no smoke. And I'm like, if he's fighting like that against that guy, he gets in there with Boots. I think he's going to be extremely timid. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to be extremely timid, or he might get into an exchange with Boots. Now that's going to be the interesting thing. Like Rashidi's shots are relatively short for a real fast guy, so I could see him beating Boots to the punch in some of these exchanges. But I don't think Rashidi's cracking like that to really get Boots' attention. The best shot is the one you don't see. And a guy with that type of speed, he could hit you with something that you don't see. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I know Delorme landed some big shots on Boots, but Boots just kept it going, and eventually
Yeah.
stopped him. But yeah, Delorme landed I think 2 big shots in that same round.
Yeah, he landed two nice hooks.
Right.
Like Boots almost looked like he just hit me. Like that's almost like how he looked. Like it was crazy, man. But
it didn't phase him.
Yeah, it didn't phase him. But I'm like, is a difference between Delorme landing that shot and a Spence landing that shot, or a Bud landing that shot, or even a Keith Thurman landing that shot. If they land that shot, let's see what the reaction is going to be. Because if Spence lands that shot, usually guys ain't right afterwards. You know what I'm saying? That's... My God, Joseph Gwilt in the building, man. Big shout out to you, bro. He said early days with Mike Tyson, they knew that he had to keep him busy to channel his aggression and kept him away from outside issues. Somebody needs to do the same with other fighters of today. It's an interesting point. That's an interesting point. What I'll say is, in response to that, what I'll say is, a lot of these boxers don't have. It's funny because you'll see them with like 100 people. Like they'll be running around with 100 people and like none of them responsible. You said like you said with a bunch of people, none of them responsible. Like and then you have some fighters, they have all of the positive people in the world, and they still screw up from time to time. Like Adrian Broner had the best foundation you could possibly have. If you think about it, he had his dad, he had Al Heyman, he had Floyd Mayweather from a business standpoint. That's 3. Then he had Barry Hunter, Kevin Cunningham. You know what I'm saying? His original coach. He had so many positive people around him and disciplinarians, and it didn't matter. Because just Broner's just a young child running wild. Like that's just who he was. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I remember Brother Nazim Richardson was talking about Broner. And Brother Nazim, he was just like, nah, he was like, he was like, that kid been crazy since the young days. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was like 10, 11 years old. He was like, he was running around but crazy. That's just who he is. You know what I mean? So, but Joseph Gwilt, that's a good point. But sometimes you can shield a person all you want. They gonna get into something. They gonna get into something. You know what I mean? It's like a kid. Like it's like a kid. Like they may be on their best behavior, but as soon as their parents go to sleep, it's on. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Sneaking out the house or what?
Yeah, they sneaking out the house. Yeah. All that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So they gonna get into something, they gonna get into it, man. Steven said Boots puts too much pressure and power on his opponents, and he can do it without losing steam. So nobody's in a rush to face that type of fight. That's what I'm saying. Like Boots different. Boots different. I can stand on that. Boots is different. Steven, you gotta think about it this way. People will say like Boots' best opponent was Lipinets, and then Delorme. and then Castillo Clayton. That'll be his top 3 people on his resume. So for somebody that's 20, was he 28? No, 29 or no? Right now, you can put him up against Spence, and it is literally a 50-50 fight. You can put him up against Boots, and it's literally a 50 Bud, and it's literally a 50-50 fight. What prospect have you seen in the past 15, 20 years where you can put him up against 2 top 5 pound for pound guys and you can say it's a 50-50 fight? But he's not in the pound for pound list.
Probably none.
None. Like none. The last time we seen this was like Roy before he became champion. Like you knew Roy was going to win the title. It was a matter of when. You knew Tyson was going to win the title. It was a matter of when. Even when Roy was on his tear and he went and fought James Toney, like Roy was still the clear favorite in that fight. The odds was just more so 65-35 or 60-40. No, Boots gets in there with Spence. This is a 50-50 fight. He gets in there with Bud. This is a 50-50 fight. We have not seen this. We haven't seen this. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen this at all, man. So Boots, you think Spence gonna fight him, bro?
Nah. Nah. Not Boots, man. Like I said, out of the names you mentioned earlier, man, I say Thurman, unless either Thurman or unless he revisits the Crawford negotiations. But that's all I can see for now, man.
Yeah, I definitely don't see. I don't see Bud fighting him. Unless Bud can get Boots to come to Omaha, which I know Boots and them would do. They're gangster enough to do that. Unless Bud get the card stacked this way, I don't see him fighting Boots. And then with Spence, he got too many outs. He got too many ways he can avoid that fight. Like he can fight a Keith Thurman, and Boots can press it with with the IBF or the WBC, and they could be like, all right, well, Boots, you got the winner, and whoever wins that fight just drops a belt, and then Boots just fight for a vacant. I don't see neither one of them guys fighting Boots. I think they'll both move up before they fighting. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you: Is Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz, like, that's been ordered, right? But I haven't seen any more news as far as like a date or anything like that. But are they just working things out for that?
I highly doubt that fight happens. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think Golden Boy won that purse bid, and I haven't heard anything either, and it's a little too quiet. Yeah. There's two types of quiet in boxing. You got that one type of quiet where it's like they working behind the scenes and try to work something out, and then there's that other type of quiet where it's like mysterious, and this is that mysterious type quiet. You heard about it for like a day, and then after that you ain't heard nothing. So I'm going to assume that fight is not going to happen. To be honest with you, who you like in that fight?
I would say I would go with Virgil. I would just go with Virgil, and I asked you that because I was just thinking, Stanionis could be an option for Boots. Let's just say if they, Virgil Ortiz and Stanionis don't happen, then maybe Boots gets past this Ukrainian guy. If it ain't, a Spence, if it ain't, a Thurman, whoever, I just think if it's not Rashidi, then maybe it could be Stanionis. just an option, just to throw a name out there. So.
No, I agree. I agree 100%, man. I think that'd be a great option for I think that's a great option for Boots because at this point, Boots need opponents. He needs to be busy and he needs opponents. So whether it's Stanionis, I think Batayev is a good fight. Batayev is a good fight for Boots. If he can get of course he's not going to get a Virgil Ortiz, but if he can get Stanionis or Rashidi Ellis or Batayev, I think those are good names to have on his resume if he can get a Spence fight. And let's be clear, it's Spence that has to answer that question of whether he's going to fight Boots. It's not Bud. You know what I'm saying? Like Boots has positioned himself to be number one or mandatory for Spence's belts, not Bud belt. So Spence has to make that decision. But Spence would be a G if he take that fight.
Yeah.
But I think he should take it because I'm like, Kell Brook gave him the opportunity when people was looking at Spence, how people were looking at Boots. Give him the, you know what I'm saying? Like give him the opportunity. So he's gonna have to. I think Spence is gonna have to really go negotiate with Bud and get that done. He's gonna have to because he really he can't move up. If he moves up to 54, he has to fight. He would have to fight Charlo, and him and Charlo tight. There's really nothing else for him in 54 that's gonna really move the needle outside of what's going on at 47. Because there's nothing in 54 outside of Jamel Charlo that's more interesting than Bud, or more interesting than Boots, or more interesting than a Thurman fight because they got so much history. There's nothing for him up there outside of a Charlo, and then he's fighting like one of his best friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, Spencer, yeah, he in a tight spot.
Yeah.
If you're Spence, what do you do? What do you do if you're controlling Spence career? What do you do?
Man, I said I would go for the easiest fight, which is Thurman. I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, I listen.
Well, I'll say this. I'll try to get Crawford first. Of course, if that don't work out, negotiation stall or whatever, then I'll go with Thurman. That's me. We visit Crawford, then if that don't work, go with Thurman. I ain't fighting Boots, man. I ain't fighting. Like I said, man, I've seen him in person. I've seen him in the ring. I ain't fighting Boots, man.
Boots is yeah, he's last. He's last on the list. Like he's like, if I have to, like if I have to. Let's see. L Dub, I knew he's gonna come through. Say Stanionis versus Ortiz is looking good for February 25th in Texas or March 11th in Cali. To my knowledge, everything is a go. Golden Boy is making up the difference in the purse for Ortiz, the 75-25 split. If it happens, that's yeah. Like if it's $1 bill and you only giving me a quarter, I got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I got a big problem. But nah, if they're making up the difference, then that's what's up. Like that's what they should do. Because these sanctioning bodies are gonna set either a 75-25 split or 65-35 split. It's gonna be one of the two. You're just seeing that with Pro Grays and Jose Ramirez. And Jose Ramirez was like, I'm not cool. What was it? 65-35? It was 65-35. And he was just like, yo, I'm the A side in this fight. Like, I do numbers. Like, I'm not taking no 65-35. Regis was like, all right, let's do 55-45. And his people was like, Regis, no, Jose Ramirez people was just like, yo, like, it's either 50-50 or no fight. I feel like that's overplaying your hand. Like that's overplaying your hand. Because I'm like, outside of Ramirez hometown, he ain't packing no houses. He ain't packing no houses outside of Fresno. You know what I'm saying? Like now, Regis ain't packing no houses neither, but he's the champion though. So you gotta. He's gonna get the lion's share. You know what I'm saying? So you said you like Ortiz in that fight with Stanionis?
Yeah, I like Ortiz.
You just think he's too big?
Yeah, I think Ortiz is he just more active. He just stays more busier. And he's got I think Ortiz got like maybe twice as many fights as Stanionis, if I'm not mistaken. Stanionis don't have a lot of fights under his belt, but he could be the fresher fighter, you know what I mean? So he could be fresh. So
Stanionis looks like a 140-pounder that's campaigning at 47. Like he's not a big 47. He kind of reminds me of in terms of body structure, Zad. always thought Zab was like a 140-pound fighter, just fighting at 47 because that's where the money was at. But his best division would have been at 40.
Yeah,
Like,
Zab was a light dude, man.
yeah, he was a light dude, man. And Stan Jonas is light as well. And I think if he was a bigger guy, he would have a better shot against Virgil Ortiz. He would have a better shot against Boots. Like Stan Jonas does the same thing they do. He's just smaller. You know what I'm saying? And that's not going to work against a Boots. It's not going to work against a Virgil Ortiz. Now, if Stan Jonas was to fight like a Ugas, I think he got a pretty good shot. You know what I'm saying? And he beat Batayev, and Batayev is a heavy puncher. But Stan Jonas, he definitely wasn't hitting the club after that fight. Neither. He had a nice little shiner. He's going to have to go in the club with the dark shades on. You know what I'm saying? After that fight with Batayev, but that was like a real phone booth fight. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we definitely gotta we gotta figure things out for January 7th because I think I want to get down there the day before.
Okay.
I think I want to get down there the day before. Even if we get down there the day of, like I want to just get something lined up after the fight, go hit somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I was saying people would hit me up. I know some people that's gone that was hit me up. Was like, hey man, does this situation mess up the fight? But I couldn't give them no answers, man. Like I said, this was first thing in the morning. I just phone blew up, man.
Bro, I thought somebody died, bro. I like my phone I had like message after message. I'm like, yo, like what is going on? Like,
man, I had messages from 3 a.m, man. I was like, I'm sleeping, not dog. Wake up, like something happened. Like, man, I just had to keep scrolling, man. I was like, dang,
it was crazy because like I had of course I'm like I was working. Like I was working and I'm like, but I had my phone somewhere like charging. So I grabbed that joint like 6:30 in the morning and I'm literally like it was just like message after message. I'm like, bro, this is crazy. I was like, this is absolutely crazy, man. But it's just Tank, whether he is guilty or innocent, like we can leave it off with this. Like, bro, all your situations got to do with some female. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all your situations got to do with a female. Like, you gotta, especially with you having daughters, you can't, bro. Like, if it gets out of hand, you gotta walk. You gotta walk. At the end of the day, I'm like, people gonna do what they gotta do to get a bag out of you. Like, basically, every time you punch in and go to work, it's 7 figures. It's 7 figures. Like guys like Ty and myself, like we punch in, it's hourly. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like we got hourly situations. You every time you go in the ring, it's 7 figures plus. Like you're literally feeding families and entertaining people. Like we all gonna be in DC because of you, bro. Because of you. Now we're there to see other people too. We there to see, you know, Andre and Boots and all of that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be good to hang out with Ty Finney and, you know what I'm saying, Wyatt Summon, all like that thing gonna be a movie, bro. Like that thing is going to be a movie, you know what I mean? But you gotta realize you are a business. You a business. At the end of the day, man, you can't let anybody, including a female, affect your business at the end of the day. Cause I'm like, if they would have canceled this fight, I'm like, your daughters are supposed to have been seeing that bag of money. Your family, your trainers, like there's so many people that you're responsible for. You got to put yourself in better positions and you have to make better decisions, you know?
Yeah, like I said, it's a pay-per-view, so it's definitely a money grab, man.
Definitely a money grab. And I'm like, it's going to be sold out.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? It's going to be sold out. It's going to do probably, to be honest with you, all the Ryan Garcia people are going to buy it. Because they're gonna want to see what Tank look like. So, to be honest with you, I can see this joint doing over 300. I can see this joint doing over 300. It should do over 300. It
And
should do over 300.
they're saying that the Peterson brothers are supposed to be on the undercard as well. I mean, Lamont Peterson's supposed to make a comeback. That's what I heard, and I've heard it multiple times.
I gotta check BoxRec, man.
It's not on
Lamont, it's not on BoxRec.
It's not on BoxRec. Man, I talked about this with the guys on my last joint, but I even before talking with them, I heard that it was going to happen, and the guys I had confirmed it's going to happen.
What weight class he fighting at?
He was telling me 143. It's not going to be on 147 because Peterson runs marathons, so he stays in shape with all this running and stuff he's doing. So you're saying it's not going to be at 147, but it's going to be at 143. And
that's interesting because I remember the fight that he had with Lipinets, and I remember him announcing his retirement right after the fight.
Yeah, I was in the building for that fight, man. It was sad to see him go out that way, man. You know what I mean? Yeah. But so to be honest with you, I don't. Even though he hadn't fought in a long time, I don't want to see him go out like that. So, and DC's is his backyard. So jump on the card and just leave the arena with a nice win under your belt, man. Don't let everybody remember that your last win was you getting stopped in your backyard.
I wonder if that's the reason why. Do you think it's like, I can get a quick bag? Or you think like, hey, like, this is a real opportunity? Like, what you think?
I mean,
what you think?
It's tough to call. I mean, Peterson's been in some wars, man. He's been in a lot of wars. He's been in there with Danny Garcia. He's been in there with Lucas Matisse, Errol Spence. So
Amir Khan,
yeah, he's been in there. He's been through some wars, man. So I can't call it, man. But like I said, I don't want to see him like his last fight with him being stopped on his feet. So I just think it's a good thing to get back in the ring and in your hometown and just have a nice win. But as far as him continuing, man, I don't know, man. Like he's done his thing in boxing, man. But yeah, I don't want him to continue and take more punishment, especially if he definitely trying to climb back up that ladder. But I think maybe some nice small fights is good, but nothing major, man.
Yeah, I like it's crazy because it's people that fight now, they get the crap beat out of them, and I don't think nothing like that. But it's guys like Lamont Peterson, like I just don't want to see. It's just I don't know. I can't really explain it. I just don't want to see him in there. It's kind of like Abner Mares. Like I just don't want to see. I have no desire to see him in the ring against anybody. At any time, like
maybe he misses the sport, man. He like so many, boxers can't give up, man. You know what I mean? Look at Tyson Fury. He announced retirement. He ditched retirement. You got Floyd still doing exhibitions. So it's I guess it could just be for the love of the sport, man. You know what I mean?
That's a good point too, man. Because it's like we automatically assume it's like it's for the bag, and of course it is for the bag. But it's like, is it out of necessity for the bag, and it's so I can say this, like for Lamont Peterson, if he's fighting because he needs the bag to make certain moves, be very strategic about it and try to make your move and get up out of there. You know what I'm saying? But if you're doing it because of the love of the sport, to be honest with you, you can put on a local card, you know what I'm saying, and just have a home game, have an opponent that fits you, you know what I'm saying, and do it that way. It's just, I don't want to see fighters that's out of their it's so difficult for a fighter financially. Like it's so difficult for a fighter financially. Like a fighter really doesn't really make it financially until they hit like a high 6-figure or 7-figure check, because a lot of times they got too many hands in the pot. More than likely they signed a bad deal when they first started. You know what I'm saying? You gotta pay the trainer, you gotta pay the gym, you gotta pay the sparring partners, then the promoter gets a cut, the manager gets a cut, You don't even know if they got an advisor. They may have an advisor too. They need to get they cut. Like, and that's not including Uncle Sam. So it's, as a boxer, you're living a hard life
Facts, man.
as a boxer, and these guys are thinking, people don't think about this, Legend. Um, these PBC fighters, as Chris G likes to say, they fight once every year and a half. Landlords charge monthly.
Facts.
You understand what I'm saying? So more than likely, if you get a purse that's $150,000 and you ain't been in a ring for a year, there's somebody in your camp that probably paid your rent. You know what I'm saying? That
Facts.
probably
Facts.
paid your rent for the year, and you staying in a place that costs like 2 racks a month. That's $24,000.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And that person might have been like, all right, well, listen, I'm gonna pay your rent for a year, but your next fight, you got to give me 20% of your purse or
Yeah.
25% of your purse. And a lot of
Yeah.
times these dudes are signing these types of deals. So you have to, it's not as easy for a boxer to maintain their money versus a basketball player, a football player, things like that. Floyd Mayweather's made all the money in the world, and every year and a half, 2 years, you hear, oh, he broke. He
Mhm.
broke. Like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah. Yeah, to follow up on that, man, like, when I interviewed Darnell Boone, I
Mhm.
learned a lot from him because, he was telling me like his last fight, he was saying he owed some money to some people. So he took that fight, pay these guys off that he owed money to. So, yeah.
Bro, and it's crazy. And uh Legend, you had to shoot me the link for that. Actually, I'll get the link myself. And when it comes down to it, with that interview, because people need to hear that. People definitely need to hear that.
Yeah,
Hold on a
because
second. Go ahead, Legend, go ahead.
yeah, just the fact that people brought that to my attention. After the interview, they was like, "Yo, that was a real good interview," and they definitely learned a lot from him in that interview. So yeah, so if you haven't seen that interview with Darnell Boone, man, head to my channel in this corner and check that interview out for sure, man. That was a good interview.
Yeah, Darnell Boone is one of the guys that he's a pioneer in the
Hey,
sport in the sense of you can learn so many lessons from him. Darnell Boone is that guy that all of the prospects called.
mm,
He's had big fights, all of
yeah,
that. And when you
yeah,
think about it, a guy like that should be sitting on 7 figures and not be worried about anything. But
yeah. Yeah,
that,
yeah. Listen, yeah, you gotta listen to him. Like, man, I learned a lot from him, man. Like he was saying, like from the beginning, his team, like he didn't have a good team that was there for him. They were just about business, but not really there for him. And I'm saying, but like he trained himself for a lot of fights. To train yourself and take fights on short week notice and knock out guys like Ward, Stevenson, Kovalev. That's impressive, man.
yeah, and the thing about Darnell Boone, that's um that was one of the best interviews you could get because it gives an overall view of how dark the sport is.
Mm,
And when I
right.
listened to it, I was like, his story is so dark,
Mm,
but his story, it needs to be heard.
mm,
His story needs to be heard from every level. You
yeah.
can tell by his opponents and who he fought and in the time frame he fought them that he didn't have a good team.
Facts.
They didn't care about him. It's kind of like Emmanuel Augustus. He
Yeah.
didn't have a good team. They were there for the bag. They didn't
Yeah.
care about him. They cared about the bag. And there's so many fighters that have teams like that. And I don't even call them teams. I don't even think it's fair to call them teams. Like they're associates.
Right.
They're associates. If you have a
Yeah.
team, your team is going to look out for you. Associates is business. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So
Um, Go ahead.
Yeah. So I don't know if I told you, and I don't know if you heard it on the interview, but he actually fought on Fernando's undercard years ago. So I was in the building when he actually knocked out, Stevenson, gave him his first loss. So
Yeah.
like he was telling me, man, he didn't even have a cutman. He said he actually picked up a cutman on the way here. Like he found a
Yeah.
cutman here or something like that. So I learned so much from him, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man, because it's like, training yourself is almost like, being your own representation in court.
Yep.
That's a loss. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it's an absolute loss. But people, the reason I love that interview so much is because you could probably chop that up into about 10 different parts and literally do a whole podcast about that one clip.
Mm,
Like him, taking a fight because he owes some guys some money.
mm.
You can have a whole show about that. You can
Facts,
have a
man.
whole show about that because there are fighters that take such bad deals. Like it's like it could be a street dude. A street dude, Boone could probably confirm this. I know a Philly fighter from back in the day that was dealing with a street pharmaceutical. You know what I'm saying? And he gave him, it was like 20,000 or whatever. And he was like, you got to give me 35% of your purse for the next like 8 fights. It didn't even make logical sense, but it's like he was in such a bad spot. He
Mm,
basically was fighting for free damn near because he got to give the money over here, give it over there.
mm.
Like, and it's
Yeah.
bad. It's
Like,
bad.
and I also asked him, like what advice would he give like an upcoming fighter? And he's like, man, just like have a good team, from the get go. And if they're a good team, you stay with them. You know what I mean? So yeah, like I said, man, I learned so much, man.
Yeah, and the thing is, bro, and it's crazy that it even came up because I literally was talking to my guy, Tree James. Big shout out to Tristan James out of Iowa. And I remember he had his fight in Philly against Mushin Kason. Big shout out to Mushin. And he lost by knockout in that fight. And that was the fight where his butt barely hit the canvas. Referee was like, it's over, it's over, it's over. And I remember he drove back to Iowa. My guy Lance Lamb Down Williams. And I ended up talking to him and I was just like, bro, like, you can't be going to other people's hometowns. You can't go to everybody's hometown trying to knock them out. Like, it's not good for your career. So
Mm,
I literally intriguing. I'm gonna bring him on camera one day so he can confirm this. Like, I literally was his de facto manager, like behind the scenes. So he was like 3-0 since like we was working together behind the scenes. He'll call me like, yo, Five, um, they offer me this fight. Should I take it? And I'd be like, nah, that ain't a good look. Let's go for something else. Like I was literally behind the controls. We came
mm,
down to his career and he ended up being 3-0. You know what I'm saying? And we was like working, but we literally had like a vision. There's not a lot of people that's actually doing that. And that's what Darnell Boone is referring to. So if Darnell Boone, I the thing that probably the one question I wish you would have asked him, bro,
mm.
if he had the team that he should have had, what did he think his ceiling would have been in terms of his career if he had that team that he should have had?
Yeah, that's yeah. I honestly think he would have had a better record. I think he would have, had beaten some of those names that he'd been in there with. You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it had, like I said, man, that interview, it was so good. Like I said, I learned a lot, man. I learned things that I never even knew. I consider myself a hardcore. I still learn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So yeah, yeah.
I agree 100%, man. Like you take a guy like like a Darnell Boone with a competent team, you know, behind him. Darnell Boone is probably a consistent top 10 guy in the division, and he's probably consistently a 6-figure fighter
Facts.
with the correct team. Because them guys that he was given a run and was beaten, once you beat a high level guy, that should get you to a 6-figure payday consistently. And but you see the Darnell Boone stories all the time. You see, I like think about it. So you take, let's just say he had a promoter. The promoter's taking 20%. He has a manager. The manager's taking 20%. So you 40% deep already. That's not even counting your trainer. Your trainer might be like 10%, something like that. You already at 50% already. And then that's not counting whatever else you got going on. You got the gym fees, you got the sparring partners, you got your handlers, family and friends want to be at the fight, this, that, and the third. So like you might be, and then let's just say he made a deal. He said he owed some people money. So I might, let's just say he had Charles over here. Charles spotted him 10 grand. Charles want his money back. David gave him 15 racks. David won his money back. Boxing is such a crazy game to where you have to literally sign off on loans to get yourself even close to where you need to be. So when you almost paying off debt, you're fighting to pay off debt. You're not fighting to make money. You're fighting to pay off debt, money that you borrowed. And it's crazy, man. I would love for you to get I know you covered a lot. I would love for you to get a part 2 in that joint.
Yeah,
with Darnell Boone, man. I watched it and I was like, now on here on you come here, we cooking for an hour and a half plus, and I like some dudes, they want to get in and get out with interviews, man. Like I actually watched that interview and I was just like, damn, like I ain't really want that joint to end. It was like I'm thinking of questions and I'm like, damn, I probably would have asking this, asking that. Like he is a must interview, man. For the people that's watching, please go check. I'm gonna post a link on all my social medias like soon as we get off this joint. It's a must
appreciate
listen.
that, man.
Yeah, it's a must listen.
Yeah, I want to give you a shout out too, man. I didn't get a chance to give you a shout. I know I did it on, IG, but yeah, I had to give you a shout out for doing that, man. Actually sharing it while we was live, man. I really appreciate that, man.
Oh, you're my dog, man. Like, so it's just and the thing that's crazy is, I know I've done interviews with people and I'm like, I don't think I've really like maximized like the content. I remember Toriano Johnson. He did an interview with Vlog, and this was before StreamYard. We were still doing the phone interviews and stuff, and just putting the visuals behind it. And he'll tell you this: we were going back and forth. So Vlog was like, yo, man, I'm just gonna keep him on for like 15, 20 minutes, get him in, get him out. I said, bro, he's gonna have a problem with that. He was like, nah. He said, I ain't like you. He said, I ain't like you, G5. I ain't trying to be talking to people for an hour and a half, 2 hours and all this and all that. And I said, I respect that, bro. I said, but these fighters want to tell their story. There's not a lot of people knocking on their door. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of people knocking on their door, man. Like, so, I said, Toriano, I've interviewed Toriano twice. I said, he's going to want to talk. He's going to want to talk. Bro, he ended that interview in Vlog. Next time you talk to him, ask him about this. Toriano Johnson literally told him after the interview was over, I was recording it. I was just silent on the interview. I recorded it. I ended the joint. The first thing Toriano said to him, he said, the next time you do an interview with me, let's do a real one where we gonna really chop it up. And he was like, damn, he's like, that was my first interview. I was just trying to keep it light. Toriano was pretty much like, man, damn all that. Like, if we gonna chop it up, we gonna,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like we
yeah,
gonna chop it up for real, man. But no, Darnell, but to be honest with you, yo, Darnell Boone can literally travel and tell
yeah.
his story and get paid for it.
Yeah, but he said that boxing, even though he didn't go like where he wanted, he's boxing, helped, he's traveled, traveled out the country, traveled state to state. So he thanks boxing for that. And I hope, man, like because he got a gym now, he's training kids and stuff like that, man. I hope
Really?
like I hope like he could take them kids to the next level. You know what I'm saying? And, like he can have a kid, make it for real, man.
Yeah.
And he can be
Also,
their mentor, the coach, whatever.
yeah, also God and these guys that have gyms and things like that, man, they really need to start promoting a gym for donations. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like there's a lot of gyms out here that's really um a gym is a pillar of your community. You know
Mm.
what I'm saying? To give the kids an outlet and give adults an outlet. It gets adults in shape, it gets kids in shape. You know what I'm saying? Um if you working out, you feel better, you look better, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna act better. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? So I think Darnell Boone is we definitely gonna pump that. We definitely gonna pump that interview. I would probably try to maybe take certain clips out that you think are really interesting
Okay.
and like drop them on social media, drop them on Instagram and Facebook, like clips. Cause it
Gotcha.
was like it was a that's probably one of my favorite interviews that I've heard probably over the past, I would say probably 2 years, and that's including my own, because when you interview somebody, it's like how much can you get? How many messages can you put together? How many people can you actually touch?
Mm.
And I'm like, Darnell Boone touched so many issues in so many different areas. But the two best interviews I've heard probably over the past year is probably your interview with Darnell Boone and and Bruce Gass interview with Tim Witherspoon.
Cool.
Those are the two interviews, because I know Tim talked about his time with like Don King, and like he was in a world title fight and like came home with peanuts, like
Damn.
in terms of like money. Like, so it's just people need to hear these stories, bro. Cause I'm like, this is why I'm not as hard on fighters as other people. Cause I'm
Mm.
like, you don't understand the life that they gotta live in
Facts.
order to
Yeah.
survive. And I'm like, it costs money for you to be in the gym every single day. And a lot of dudes can't do it. You take a Brian Baba Jennings, he was working at the bank before the Vlad fight. Before he got the Klitschko fight, he was working at the Federal Reserve Bank on 4th Street
Dang.
in Philly
Wow.
when he got that fight. You know what I mean? There's a bunch of dudes that was working regular jobs.
Yeah. And
Bunch of dudes.
yeah, I know you mentioned about Hank Lundy. Yeah, and I know Hank Lundy like works full time. Because I follow him. I've been saying the pictures and
Hmm.
stuff. Yeah. So.
So it's like and it's like people be thinking like, oh, well, why would I want to interview Hank Lundy? I'm like,
Mm.
bro, Hank Lundy is more of the common fighter than your favorite fighter,
Yeah.
because he goes through the struggles that are more common to a fighter than the superstar. The superstar ain't got to go through shit.
Facts, man.
They ain't got to go
Yeah.
through nothing. They got money behind them, the whole nine. All they got to do is go in the gym and train
Yeah.
and fight.
Man, I think sometimes people look at you like if you're a journeyman or you got a bad record, then you ain't got nothing to talk about, man. That's not the case at all, man. I respect all boxers that get in that ring, man. All of them.
Bro, I literally, and I never dropped the interview, and I'll keep his name anonymous. But I literally interviewed a dude. He's one of the best trainers in the Midwest. But his professional record, he was like 1-15. And when I
Damn.
say I got the most jewels out of that interview, like when I say I got crazy jewels, it was crazy. And the only reason I didn't drop the interview is because he had an issue. He had an issue with Antoine Eccles. and Antoine Eccles, he was trying to get back in the game. Similar situation to Darnell Boone. He was trying to get back in the game. But the commission told Antoine Eccles, hey, listen, you got to win this next fight. You don't win this next fight, you know, we're not going to grant you a license to fight anymore. So the guy that I interviewed, Antoine Eccles, called him up. They worked out a situation and they went on and fought, but he knew he was gonna lose the fight. So that's why I didn't drop it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't even care, but I was like, I did. And I was just like, I don't want people to look at him any different because he got himself in that situation. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, but I agree 100%, man. Like, it don't matter. A lot of these people records, you know, people records are that way for a reason. I mean, my guy Tree James was like, he was like 3-3 at one point, 4-4 at one point. And I'm like, you look at his resume, I was just like, everybody he fought was undefeated or lost one fight. And you know, you see that.
Yeah, plus, you know, the politics, man. The politics of boxing too, man. So that plays a huge part, man.
Politics is so dirty, bro.
Yeah, I just want to add one more thing, man. With Boone, he was telling me, like, even the commission called him. It was like, hey, don't take that fight with Adonis Stevenson. He said even the commission didn't want to take that fight. You know, they say got an early knockout. Got an early knockout over Stevenson.
And that's the thing, like, and the thing is, like, even when the commission call you, and this is crazy, the commission probably showed more compassion than his team did. His team winning that fight, they didn't think he was going to win that fight or be competitive in that fight. That was just a business transaction. That was a business transaction, and he trumped the apple cart. That's what happened. But I got so much out of that Darnell Boone interview. I could literally take clips out of y'all interview and play it for a fighter and be like, yo, if your team not right, your situation not right, this is what can happen. And it's hard to tell. I mean, there's dudes fighting. This dude's fighting at your local arenas. They fighting for $1,200, $1,500, $2,000. You know what I'm saying? And it could be like a co-main event at your local gym, and they're making under $2,000. You know what I'm saying? They making under $2,000. Like, so it's just, you know, the game is so crazy. It's so crazy, man. Like, but I'm glad you did that interview, bro.
Yeah, man. I was hesitant to do it at first, but man, I'm glad I did it. I was just hesitant, man. But you know, like a huge shout out, man, because a lot of people on Facebook actually share that interview. So I mean,
you know, the thing that's funny. The thing that's funny, I don't get to talk to Legend too much because of the schedules and all that. So it was like, you know, I'm subscribed and get all the notifications and all that. So all I see, the Legend interview with Darnell Boone. So I remember I had some food in my hand, I almost dropped it. I almost dropped my food. So I'm like, that's with the phone. I'm fumbling it. I'm like, Darnell Boone. I'm like, damn. I said, I ain't heard nothing from this dude. I said, let me click this real quick. And then I seen it. He got Darnell Boone on there. I'm like, damn, this dude really got Darnell. He really out here making moves. So as soon as I seen it, I was just like, yo, let me share this joint real quick. And this was prior to me listening. I didn't listen to a word of it. I literally just went, got the link, and just start sharing it. And then it just, when I went back, so I didn't listen to it live. I had to go back and listen to it. And I'm like, bro, this ain't nothing but gems all through this thing. And I'm like, Darnell Boone career was pretty clean in terms of, like, he had no illegal stuff or anything like that, you know. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just it was crazy, man. I can't wait for people to hear it. Even the Jamel, I mean, you got the Jamel Herring interview. Definitely need to y'all definitely need to go listen to that. For sure. Let's get these last couple out of here and get up out of here. Young Guns, he said, who is fighter of the year for you? I think it's between Monster, Nui, and Bivol. It's Bivol for me. You take out Canelo and Zerto in the same year. I love Nui, but he ain't do. Bivol dominated Zerto and Canelo. Like Monster ain't got that on his resume. Like Bivol's fighter of the year. I will argue anybody about that. I just don't see nobody else has put in that type work. You know what I'm saying? It's not only the wins, it's how he got the wins. Like they were no when you can beat Canelo by decision, like Triple G been trying to do that his whole career. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's Bivol for me, man. Andre Southgate, salute all here listening. Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you, good brother. Steven, yeah, the Darnell Boone interview was good. Yeah, it was. Yeah, that shit was dope, bro. That shit was dope, man. Big shout out to Steven. Hey Steven, if you get the link from off of YouTube, share that thing, man. Share that thing. Chris G, he got Jamel Herring on air too. I watched it live. Yeah, and then see, I watched that on the play. I got that on the playback, but
Yeah.
I responded to that the same way because I didn't know that one was coming. And I'm like,
Yeah.
I
I
said,
said, yeah, man. I didn't want to just say I'm going to do these interviews and it don't happen. So I kind of kept it
yeah,
on the down low, man. Just
this is
went ahead and did it, man.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is why I don't really do interviews that much because that initial conversation is like, oh yeah, let me know when you're ready and I'll be ready. And then you do the follow up and it's just nothing. Like, and I'm very impatient. You know, when it come down to that stuff, I'm like, yo, it's either we going when we doing this, bro. I done had the who's who of the sport say they gonna jump on and and it's just I don't follow up because I get frustrated if I don't get the answers that I want in the time that I feel like I should get them. You know what I'm saying? So to get a Jamel Herring on, that's big.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
big. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like I said, though, we were actually in the works for a few weeks for that. Like me and him were talking back and forth. But like I said, he's a busy guy and he got a busy schedule. So I understand. But like I said, we made it happen. So
Yeah, Jamel is one of the gentlemen of the sport, and people don't realize. I'm like, when he fought Jermaine Ortiz, that was a fight. The winner was gonna get Loma. If Jamel would have won that fight, he'd have got Loma.
mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's just talking to these guys is very important because you don't know what message you're gonna get out of these. You don't know what message you're gonna get out of these guys. I mean, we talked to Toriano after the Munguia fight. I was the first person to show Toriano's face after his whole joint got split. I was the first person to get him on camera. You know what I'm saying? Like after he healed and all that. Like so, it's like what we do is very important. And people don't realize what we have to do to bring some of the content, just bring what we have available to you. It takes a lot to get in front of this camera and get the interviews and get the perspectives and things like that. So people need to understand that, appreciate that, and don't take it for granted neither. We don't just wake up in the morning and just be like, all right, well, I'm gonna get on YouTube today. Like, no, like, Legend got a whole family, like got a whole family job, the whole nine. With me, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's not easy, carving out space and time for this type of stuff, man. So you gotta salute the Ty Finneys of the world and all that, man. But we gonna close it out right there, man. Give me your social media, YouTube, and all that good stuff, good brother.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram, the Legend 3347, on Facebook as Todd Finney. Podcast in this corner. Like I said, man, I got 13 episodes, got about 7 live coverages, 4 interviews so far. So I'm gonna keep pushing for sure, man.
Yes, sir, man. One of the hottest young dudes out here, man. Definitely go subscribe to everything he got going on. You can find me everywhere. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, everything G5 Jeff TV, man. I will be posting the links to the Darnell Bone interview and the Jamel Herring interview tonight. So y'all can definitely go listen to both of those. They are both must listens. And big shout out to the team, man. VP Shane, big shout out to him. Big shout out to Boxing First Vlog. You know what I'm saying? They got some things going on right now. So, you haven't really seen them a lot, but, they'll be back in the fold. in a quick minute. You know what I'm saying? But we got Tank January 7th, barring he don't get locked up again. Like, you know what I'm saying? We gonna get him on the 7th. But Legend, I'm gonna call you probably in about like an hour.
Okay.
Figure out what we gonna do for the 7th. And I'm pretty sure it's probably a whole bunch of other people, YouTubers and stuff that's gonna be down there too. So I'm gonna have to reach out to a lot of people. So you know what I mean? On behalf of the Legend, your boy G5 Jeff TV, this was episode 151 of the Goodfellas podcast. On behalf of the staff, we'll see y'all tomorrow for episode 152. We out.